And we're back. I hope everything is working more efficiently now. I hope, you know. Anyway, thank you guys for staying with us. And let's continue, shall we? I believe we were talking about theater, kids. Now, dreaming is easy. Reality is where things get interesting. Uh, Eventually, every theater kid discovers a very painful truth. The role that you imagine for yourself and the role the world imagines for you are not necessarily the same thing. When I was young, I wanted to be a leading man, you know, the guy who got the girl and who took the final bow. In hindsight, I was overly optimistic. One day, years ago in Los Angeles, I walked into a commercial audition, right? Now, if you've never been to a commercial audition, they usually group the actors by type. So when you walk into a casting office, you immediately start, you know, trying to figure out your category. And I walked in, right? And I looked around, and every man in that room had an enormous nose. And I remember thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Well, I promptly found out, my friends, this particular commercial's overriding theme was big noses and the people who have them. I learned two things that day. One, at least one casting director in Los Angeles thought I had a big nose. Two, I do not share that opinion, right? I mean, come on, check it out, right? Is this a big nose? Is that a big nose? What do you think? Oh, wait, don't answer that. There are moments like that in every actor's life. Moments when reality taps you on the shoulder with notes. Acting itself is a profession built literally on rejection. You know, no, you're too tall. No, you're too short. You're too old. No, you're too young. And of course, my very least favorite, oh, we went in another direction, which might be the single most infuriating sentence in the entire English language. Still, we theater kids keep showing up because somewhere along the way, we fall in love with the dream itself. Not success, not applause, just the possibility that someday, somewhere, someone might hand us a role that we were meant to play. And here is a song that perfectly captures the magnificent madness of artists who chase impossible dreams. This is Audition from La La Land. My aunt used to live in Paris. I remember she used to come home and tell us these stories about it being abroad. And I remember she told us that she jumped into the river once, barefoot. She smiled, leapt without looking, and tumbled into the sand. The water was freezing. She spent a month sneezing, but said she would do it again. Here's to the ones who dream, foolish as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that ache. Here's to the mess we make. She captured a feeling, a sky with no ceiling, a sunset inside of a frame. She lived in her liquor and died with a flicker. I'll always remember the flame. Here's to the ones who dream, foolish as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that ache. Here's to the mess we make. She told me a bit of madness is key to give us new colors to see. Who knows where it will lead us? And that's why you need us to bring on the rebels from pebbles, the painters and poets and plays. Here's to the fools who dream, crazy as we may seem. Here's to the hearts that break. Here's to the mess we make. I trace it all back to then, to Scrooge and a boy barely 10, smiling through it. I tell you, I'd do it again. And that, my friend Lance, we'll be back in a moment. And we're back once again. All right, guys. I would like to ask you if the quality is vastly improved. Would you please just press 1 so that we can know, we can get an idea that what you guys are seeing is considerably better. I hope that it is. Because I tell you, man, I've been busting my ass out here, man. I've been working on this show. I got all these songs, I mean, but isn't that life, you know? Oh, it's perfect. 1. It's perfect. Everybody sing 1. All right, that's good. And if Mr. President Jesus says it's perfect, well, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Mr. President Jesus. That's perfect. All right, thank you, Jake. Thank you for bringing us back. It's going to be back. It's going to be back. And I think, you know, since we're going to be going late tonight, because there's still a lot of songs to get through and a lot of monologues, you know, we'll see. I can sleep on the plane, you know. It's a long way. I got to go to Dallas, and it's a long way from Dallas to New York, so I got a good 4 hours I can sleep. So what can you do? All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we talked about what was the first musical that you ever saw. And I would like to know, especially if there are any actors out there, is there a role that you ever really, really wanted, sort of circling back to the audition song? And I love that song so much. It literally encapsulates, is that a word? I think it is.
It is.
What it means to be an actor and what that is.
And you used it correctly.
Thank you very much. I've been to college and everything. Favorite Shakespeare play? Now that is an interesting thought, Drumlin Drum 7913. I was very fortunate. I did As You Like It back in, 2001. I played Duke Frederick in As You Like It. And I love this director. Joel Sweetow was his name. If you're out there, Joel, man, you're the bomb. what he had us do as the actors was throw out the verse in rehearsal, throw out everything, and simply say the intention of the lines as you would say it in modern colloquial English, right? Which helped dramatically when you have to go back and do the iambic pentameter and the poetry of it all. So I'm very fond of As You Like It, but I have to say one of my favorite Shakespeare plays probably is, and I was in this show too. I was in King Lear. But we may want to do the intro song again.
Don't say that out loud.
I just said it out loud. And I just said it out loud. We may not want, don't say it out loud, but we may do all right, well, I just said it out loud. I'm sorry, because,
Do you want to do that?
all right, guys. Seriously, we're sitting, damn Yankees. Oh, man, I love talking to my people. I could talk about musicals all night long. All right, I'm going to ask you guys. Apparently, on the very, very first song, "The Don't Rain on My Parade," the quality was really, really terrible. So, as we're chatting, would you guys like me to get back up on the karaoke stage and do that again? Let me know. Let me know. But I think it was my favorite Shakespeare play is probably King Lear. And I say I was in King Lear. I played literally the British and French armies. So it was one of those sort of situations. I had no lines. And the gentleman playing Lear was, I don't even know if he's alive anymore, probably not. Dan O'Hurley was his name. Oh my God, Captain Wrecked. Who's on First? All right, I did Who's on First once it was a fundraiser for a theater company in Los Angeles. Who's on First was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life, because memorizing Who's on First is really, really hard, guys. Because it's like, you're down for are we? Please don't do Rain on My. I kind of hear like you guys. I think you guys, I could keep talking about Who's on First, which is truly one of the hardest things to ever memorize. Almost impossible, I'm surprised we finally did it right. It took so much rehearsal. But I will do Rain on My Parade. I think you guys want to hear it again with a clear stream. So without further ado, let me... I toast you, my friends. I thank you for staying with us tonight on this rather technologically challenging evening. But that's live theater, baby. That's live theater. And that's what, when you come here, you ain't getting live streaming. You're getting live theater here. So, all right, let me, smooth. We will take a little break, and I'll get back up there. Don't Rain on My Parade. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coming up for you. Hit it, Matt. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I march my band out, I'll beat my drum, and if I'm fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, hat, sir. I guess I didn't make it, but whether I'm the rose of sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, a cinder or the shiny apple of its eye, I gotta fly once, I gotta try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, life is juicy, juicy, and you see, I gotta have my bite, sir. Get ready for me, world, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. I'm gonna live and live now. Get what I want, I know how. One roll for the whole shebang. One throw, that bell will go clang. I am the target, and wham! One shot, one gunshot, and bam! Hey, Twitch channel, here I am. I'll march my band out. I'll beat my drum. And if I am fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, hat, sir. I guess I didn't make it. Get ready for me, world, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on my parade. In 2012, I was working for Marvel Studios, and I commuted from Burbank to Manhattan Beach every day. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Los Angeles geography, allow me to summarize. It is the sort of commute that causes you to question the existence of a loving God. At the time, I was working a screen credits job. My responsibility was to literally spell check the names of other actors in movie credits, successful actors, actors who had achieved the very thing that I desperately wanted. So every morning I would fight my way down the 405 to Manhattan Beach Studios, and at the entrance, painted in giant letters on the side of this enormous soundstage, with these words: "Welcome to What's Next." And every day I would pass that goddamn sign. Welcome to What's Fucking Next. And what was fucking next? Well, I'll tell you, it was another long commute, another day job, another reminder that despite all the auditions and all the effort, I still had not become the person I thought I was supposed to become. And the irony, folks, is that by this point, I had already been cast as the second voice of Uncle Iroh. Yeah, 6 years earlier. Yeah, you heard that right. 6 years earlier. Now, when that happened, I thought, oh, man, my life is about to change. And all those years of uncertainty were finally going to pay off. And then life kept going. So 6 years later, and I'm still commuting. I'm still spell checking the names of actors who had somehow figured out the thing I could not seem to figure out. It was one of the lowest points in my life. Not because I didn't have things to be grateful for. I did. I absolutely did. I was the second voice of Uncle Iroh, for God's sake. I was married to the one true love of my life, my beautiful Melissa. I had a roof over my head, and I had two gifted and wonderful and loving children who actually seemed to like us. I had work. What I lacked was not gratitude, my friends. What I lacked was hope. And one evening, I was driving home on the 405, stuck, literally and figuratively, not moving, just, sitting there in Los Angeles traffic, wondering where exactly my life had gone wrong. And then a song from a musical called Matilda came up on my iPod. Yes, my iPod. Kids, ask your parents. And the song was called Naughty. And right then and there, in the middle of a typically hellish Los Angeles traffic jam, listening to a little girl sing about refusing to accept the story that she was handed, I lost it, man. I wept. I sat there trapped inside my PT Cruiser. And I sobbed like a baby. But for the first time in a very, very long time, I felt something else. I felt hope again. And I realized something. I was not stuck. I absolutely was not stuck. Although actually the teleprompter is at this point, so pardon me. Move that forward a little bit. Technology, what are you going to do? I was not stuck. I was just in the middle of a chapter. Man, the middle of a chapter. And sometimes you just have to turn the page. This is Naughty. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. So they say the subsequent fall was inevitable. They never stood a chance, they were written that way. Innocent victims of their story. Like Romeo and Juliet, 'twas written in the stars before they even met. That love and fate and a touch of stupidity would rob them of the hope of living happily. Their endings are rough and a little bit gory. I wonder why they didn't just change their story. We're told that we should do as we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Even if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. Cinderella in the cellar didn't have to do much as far as I could tell. Her godmother was 2/3 fairy. Suddenly her lot was a lot less scary. But what if you haven't got a fairy to fix it? Sometimes you have to make a little bit of mischief. Because you find that life's not fair. It doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Even if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And if it's not right, you have to put it right. In the slip of a bolt, there's a tiny revolt, the seed of a war in the creak of a floorboard. A storm can begin with a flap of a wing. The tiniest mite packs the mightiest sting. Every day starts with the tick of a clock. All escapes start with a click of a lock. If you're stuck in your story and want to get out, you don't have to cry, you don't have to shout, 'cause if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you won't change a thing. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And if it's not right, you have to put it right. But nobody else is gonna put it right for me. Nobody but me is gonna change my story. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Sorry. All right, welcome back. I think everything seems to be working now. We're gonna do a little chatting now, and I think, again, live theater, folks. That's why I love theater. Things go wrong, you have to fix it. You go back and you do some other things. I hope you guys enjoyed that last song, Naughty, because the monologue leading into it. For that matter, no, this is not a martini on the table, Jormungand and 117. This is called a Ghost Light Royale. It is made with 1.5 ounces of gin, 1/2 ounce of elderflower liqueur, a couple of drops of bitters, right? Shake that up in a cocktail shaker. Pour it into a coupe glass, and I think this is rather watered down at this point, and then top it with some Prosecco. Actually, you know what? If you would, Matt, in the fridge just behind you, down in the bottom, you will see a bottle of Prosecco. I think it's the middle one on the bottom. It has like a little cork sitting up in the back, Oh no, on the shelf, the inside shelf of the fridge.
Okay.
There we are. Ah, is that the prosecco or is that mead? Oh, what the hell? Yeah, well, yeah, leave that out, man. What the heck? All right. At this point, I think we have established that it's entirely possible I will simply be staying up, although probably not. All right. What got me into voice work? Well, I will tell you, Captain Wrecked. What happened to me is I knew from a very early age, actually, I'm about to talk about that, at the age of 10 years old, I knew that I wanted to be an actor, and which is great. That's the Prosecco?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely go with the Prosecco and not the mead. The mead would be a serious, Iro would say, no, it is not a good idea. Mead is never a good idea when you've begun drinking something else, because mead is very, very sweet. Indeed, mead was the only time I was ever dead drunk in a gutter. That's another story for another time. On our Ren Fair episode, we should do a Renaissance Festival episode. That actually, you know.
I mean, it only makes sense because of your brother.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Well, you know, yeah, it does make sense, you know. And I always find the Venn diagram of people that come to fan conventions and people that love musical theater and people that go to Renaissance festivals. That's pretty much a big chunk of people you got there, you know?
Anyway, I detracted from the story that
You did, you know. Yeah.
which was about how you got into voice.
How I got into voice acting. So, knew I wanted to be an actor from early age. Went to the University of Houston, which had a wonderful theater department. Some very esteemed actors came out of there. Notably, both Quaid brothers, my friend Brett Cullen, Brent Spiner, from Star Trek, Sally Mays, our dear friend Sally Mays, who was nominated for a Tony, is a New York City diva. So yeah, actually, a lot of us went to the University of Houston Theater Department, and I count myself very lucky to have done that. And I'm sorry, guys. Now I'm going to make you all pissed off at me. I'll ask you, Matt. All right, 1979. What do you think the tuition was for a semester at the University of Houston in 1979?
I have no idea. What was it? $1,000?
No, you're gonna hate me.
$800? $100?
$300. $300. I know. I'm sorry, and that's yeah, $300. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, and I want to say, you know what? As theoretically, I don't consider myself a boomer. I consider myself a Generation Jones. But I'm sorry, that's not right. As I was just singing, that's not right. That's not right. We have to put it right. Getting an education should not put you in debt for the rest of your life. It's not right. But yes, that is true. It was $300, and actually, to make it, yeah, I'm sorry to make it. I had a scholarship. So I wasn't even out $300. So I'm sorry, guys. I will say, was the world better in 1979 than 2026? I don't know. We had other things to worry about. Certainly, at that point, the Cold War was still happening, and the Cold War, growing up under the specter of this, was a thing. It was something that we all realized at any point we could all totally be vaporized. But maybe this is a topic for another show, and maybe a couple of drinks in, I probably shouldn't get into it. But I will say that
Did you finish your tangent about, or did you finish your?
No. I will get back. I will get back to voice acting. But I just want to say, I wish for all the things that were easier, you know, in the late 70s, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for what my generation has done to you young people. I am sorry for that with all my heart. You guys deserve a future. And I very much hope that you have one. These days, I don't know, man. I don't know. Getting off on a completely different tangent. And for the love of God, do not mention my tweet this week that got 2.5 million views. If anyone saw that, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not allowed to talk about that anymore. In fact, I said everything I need to say about that. But circling back, the University of Houston, knew I wanted to be an actor from a very, very early age. I met my beautiful wife at the University of Houston Theater Department, and we left for Los Angeles in 1987 from Houston. I had a little bit of luck. When we arrived in LA, I got 5 McDonald's commercials. And I thought that was going to make me rich, and indeed it would have, except the product was McDonald's pizza. So it didn't make me rich, but it did get me my SAG card, which turned out to be a very actually lucky thing. Anyway, shortly after that, we had our two wonderful children, Sydney and Cooper. We had them 11 months apart. They were Irish twins, don't you know? So it was just one of those crazy things. Anyway, the kids were little, so I stayed home. I stopped acting. I stayed home to help raise those kids. And at some point, they were in elementary school. They were grown up. They were ready to, you know, they were launched a little bit. So I went back and I did a show at a theater in Hollywood. And the director said, you know, you do a lot. You do. I had to do a lot of voices in this show, and he said, "Oh, Greg, man, you do great voices. Why don't you go and take from my friend lessons from my classes with my friend Sue Blue, who is not only a voice actress. I think she was a Smurf, but she also taught and she also cast for animation. And so I went and did that, and I was very lucky because Sue, God love her, liked me enough to actually pick up a phone and call and get me a voiceover agent. And from that point, everything just sort of, you know, snowballed at that point. I think the question was an actor that inspired me. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. The actor that probably has most influenced me in my life and my style, someone that I truly ignore, and I don't want to rag on my American actors, and I don't want to rag on people that are very into the Meisner method and the Stanislavski, because there is a place for that. My problem was always, oh, this is the method. It is a method.
Haven't you said that you and Melissa have a great deal of disagreement?
Melissa and I, especially when we were much younger, we did disagree about that because Melissa is such a wonderful actress and she could just do it. And I have always been very much, you know what? I mean, these British actors, holy crap, they'll do a matinee, you know, with the old Vic. They will get literally toasted at a pub, and then they'll go back and do the show that night. And that's the British way is simply remember your lines and don't bump into the scenery. It's very much based on technique, whereas the American method is very much based on how can I, in my own personal life, I'm supposed to be sad, so therefore I have to dredge up a memory from my childhood when I was sad. And again, I am saying it is a method, and it works for many, many people. For me, man, I'm just playing make-believe, man, and that's what I liked about it. You get to be another person. You get to live another life. You get to speak in another voice. That was always the attraction to it for me. And to this day, no, I wish I could say no. Every role I get, I really do notes and figure out what the backstory of this character is. And no, not really. I figure out. And ironically, maybe it's why I'm a voice actor. The first thing and a mimic from a very early age. The first thing I do is, what does this character sound like? And once I find the voice, then I find the character. But again, you know, this is all just yada 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 bullshit. I mean, sometimes I think we actors get a little full of ourselves when we start to talk about the art of it all, and this is how I get is to the point of it all.
Well, you say that, but you were asked directly about
I know.
by another actor.
Yeah,
So
from
I'm sure
another.
they're eating that up.
I don't, and I say, whatever works for you, man. Someone, I think I did a class at the Albuquerque Little Theater, and somebody said, so asked me, so I think I'm getting too tied up in all this. I think I'm getting too into myself, and I was like, just fucking do it. Just do it. Don't get so tied up, and it's not rocket science, man. It's if you can remember the lines, which is also why I'm a voice actor now. I was watching the Tonys and just such appreciation for actors because those are a lot of lines. The last show I did was almost 10 years ago. It was The Baker's Wife. It was a Stephen Schwartz show. And even then I was like, oh, the lines are harder to remember. Or they make me worry more as I get older. But as I say, every actor, and I would say this, every actor, is there a method? No. Every actor has his own method. And on that, my friends, I'm going to have a little bit more of this Prosecco, and we're going to...
Well, just one more thing.
One more thing. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt, come sit. Sit down. Sit next to me. Come on. Sit next to me, Matt. What do you want to drink? You want something here?
No, I don't. But
This is Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Hi, this is Matt.
I'm just coming on the stream to say that every month, if you have Amazon Prime, you are given access to a Prime subscription, and that rolls over or that goes away every month, basically. So you get access to it every month. And if you have your Prime subscription available, Greg would be very appreciative if you would use that on his stream.
I would indeed. So, Matt, ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt. This is like the greatest guy. I could not do this show without you. And Matt, and for somebody in here with me, you don't drink.
That's true.
It was just weird, but we'll work on him about that.
I'm from a different time.
I'm working on him about that. All right, my friends. I think I'm gonna have a little more Prosecco, and then how do I do Prime subs?
If you have a Amazon Prime subscription, you can connect it to your Twitch account, and then your Prime sub should show up.
Did you guys hear Matt? iRow 3.
Well, there already is an iRow.
There is always an actually, and I think I dubbed someone
Also
iRow
move the mic
4.
back
I dubbed someone iRow 4.0 at some point. So I think that makes you probably 5.0. I think you're 5. Oh.
I don't think I'm quite old enough yet. I need that raspiness to my voice,
iRow, interesting. Looking at the comments here. Buddy the tea guy is iRow 4.0, the guy that we actually buy our tea from. So, Matt, sit beside me again, please.
We got to go to the next
I know, we will. But I hereby dub you iRow 4.0. 5.0. All right, now we can hit the buttons.
I'm honored.
Now we can hit the buttons and stuff. We will be back momentarily, my friends. I can tell you the exact day that I became an actor. Not professionally. No, nobody paid me. Nobody cast me. But it was absolutely the day it happened. It was at the Wynwood Cinemas in Oak Cliff, Texas, early December of 1970. I was 10 years old, and my parents had dropped my little brother Jeff and I off to see a new movie called Scrooge while they, did some shopping. It was, of course, a musical adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and you can still watch this movie every December, or whenever the fuck you want. I do not judge when it comes to Christmas movies. But by the end of Scrooge, I was not thinking about Christmas or Christmas movies or ghosts or even Albert Finney's performance or frankly, much of anything else. What I was thinking, my friends, was I want to do that. I want to make people feel what I am feeling right now. And that was the day I became an actor. The day I found the light that I didn't even know I was looking for. Not because I wanted attention or applause, although I am not opposed to either of those things, obviously. No, I had discovered the transformative magic of storytelling. And I liken it, frankly, to a religious experience. Scrooge had made me laugh. It had made me cry. I didn't even know why I was crying. It altered my very DNA. I saw the world differently than I had 2 hours earlier. A Christmas Carol is so much more than what Dickens dubbed a ghost story of Christmas. It's about waking up. It's about gratitude. It's about discovering that life itself is the miracle. And one of my favorite musical moments in that film is when Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas Present sing "I Like Life" while flying through the London sky. And as a child, I loved it. I loved it because it was joyful. And as an adult, it devastates me because what Scrooge discovers while singing that song isn't wealth. He already has wealth. It isn't success. He already has that too. What he discovers when he sings that song is wonder. A few months ago, I was chatting with some guests at a fan convention near closing time. My line had finally died down, and I was tired. I was looking forward to an adult beverage at the hotel bar. Now, if you have ever spent any time whatsoever in the company of Greg Baldwin, you will know that I am prone to occasional bouts of random singing. And this particular night, I was so moved. And I sang, "I like life, life likes me, life and I fairly fully agree." And suddenly, I swear to God, suddenly a woman a few feet away from my table, she just lights up. And she approaches me almost immediately and she says, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I hadn't thought about that song in years. My father used to sing that song to us. He made us watch Scrooge every single Christmas. Thank you so much for helping me remember him." And in that moment, I realized something terribly profound. The thing I set out to do all those years ago, the thing that little boy had dreamed about, had actually happened. Not fame or success, not any of the things that I thought mattered when I was younger. A story had traveled from a writer's mind to a movie screen, to a little boy, to a father, to a daughter, to a tired old actor at the end of his shift. And for one brief, shining moment, it connected all of us. And I realized something then. The stories that we love don't just belong to us, We just borrow them for a while, and then we pass them on. A teacher hands a Man of La Mancha monologue to a little kid in Denver. Father sings a song from Scrooge to his daughter. A fictional little girl named Matilda reminds a struggling actor to keep going. We carry these gifts with us throughout our lives. And sometimes, if we are super lucky, we get to pass them on to someone else. We come with beautiful secrets. We come with purposes written on our hearts, written on our souls. We come to every new morning with possibilities only we can hold, that only we can hold. Redemption comes in strange places, small spaces, calling out the best of who we are. And I wanna add to the beauty to tell a better story. I wanna shine with the light that's burning up inside. Oh, oh. It comes in small inspirations. It brings redemption to life and work, to our lives and to our work. It comes in loving community. It comes in helping a soul find its worth. A soul find its worth. Redemption comes in strange places, small spaces, calling out the best of who we are. And I wanna add to the beauty to tell a better story. I wanna shine with a light that's burning up inside. Oh, 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 oh. And this is grace, an invitation to be beautiful. And this is grace, an invitation. Redemption comes in strange places, small spaces, calling out our best. And I wanna add to the beauty. Oh, oh, I wanna shine with a light that's burning up inside. Oh, add to the beauty. I wanna tell a better story. Oh, shine with the light that's burning up inside. Oh, 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 oh. Destiny is a funny thing. You never know how things are going to work out. But if you keep an open mind and an open heart, I promise you will find your destiny. So, before we continue, I would like you all to join me as we perform a minor miracle in a noisy and annoying age. For the next 30 seconds, let's shut our communal pie holes. Let's not applaud or type or perform or sing. Let's think about the people who handed us gifts: teachers, parents, friends, artists, storytellers, the people who helped to make us who we are. And maybe think about who might one day say the same thing about you. 30 seconds. Here we go, friends. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have minded being quiet for a little longer. I sometimes get sick of the sound of my own voice. But I do realize that 30 seconds of silence on the internet qualifies as performance art. Now, when I started pulling this particular show together, I thought it was going to be about theater kids and very autobiographical, and it mostly is. But it's also about gifts. The gifts we receive, the gifts we carry, the gifts we pass on. The most important things in life are never things, my nieces and nephews. The most important things in life are people and stories and acts of generosity, tiny lights passed from one person to another. And that's why theater kids make so much sense to me, man. We're just fucking stubborn enough to believe that a song can change a life. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I assure you, I have spent 65 years collecting evidence. And tonight you've heard some of it. And if there's one idea I hope you take home with you tonight, let's circle back to our Mad Knight Don Quixote de la Mancha. Most people see life as it is. Theater kids see life as it should be. Not because we're naive, not because we're foolish, but because imagining a better world, it's often the first step towards creating one. If you know this song, friends, please sing along. You know the words, right? I know I do. Burned in my soul. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers and me, all of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailor? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it is something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da do, la da 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 dee da do. Ah, my nieces and my nephews, I thank you for reminding me why I do this show in the first place. Now, tonight was all about theater kids, but also about dreamers who add to the beauty. If you made it this far into the evening, I suspect you're one of us. And remind me to show you the secret theater kids handshake. All right, it's just jazz hands and unresolved childhood trauma. But still, before we go, let's do what we theater kids have always done when words alone are not enough. Let's sing our way out. We sang some songs, we had some laughs, but all things have to end. And so, until we meet again, destiny is your friend. Woohoo! Theater kids! Woo! If you enjoyed tonight's show, please, friends, follow the channel. It really does help. What?
One more thing that can help.
What we got, Matt? What we got?
Jacob told me to remind Greg that personalized video requests are now live on his website.
Personalized video requests are now live on my website as opposed to Cameo. So if you want a personalized video request, come to the website, ladies and gentlemen. Now, next week, we will be taking a very different journey. We will be hitting the Mother Road, baby, Route 66. Stories, history, music, and one of the most legendary stretches of highway ever built. I should know, it's right over there. I hope you'll join me. We will most definitely get our kicks. This weekend, I will be appearing in White Plains, New York at the Undiscovered Realms Fan Convention. In fact, as you know, I leave to the airport in about 6 hours or so. So I really do need to get my ass to bed, or maybe not. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you happen to be in the White Plains area, friends, please stop by and say hello. I will be there with one of my absolute favorite humans and the legendary voice of Toph, Michaela Murphy. I'd tell you a joke about Toph, but I don't think she'd see the humor. Thank you, thank you. I'm here for another 30 seconds. A splendid time will be guaranteed for all, and I would so much love to meet you in person. Until then, my friends, keep dreaming, keep creating, be well, be happy, be kind.